Hello everyone. It has been a while since I made a video, but I figured this would be the perfect time as I have just finally acquired a couple of days ago, about last week, the RTX, the EVGA RTX 3080 for the Win 3 Ultra. So this is my first time experiencing um, this my television. I have with HDMI 2.1 on both ends. So I have two televisions that currently support HDMI 2.1. I have a 55-inch LG B9 from 2019 OLED, and great television set, supports HDMI 2.1, and I have a 77-inch LG C9 2019 model OLED as well. Both of these TVs support HDMI 2.1, as you already know. If you don't, you can look up the specs and stuff online. And when you hook these televisions up to to these graphics cards, especially on PC, you may run into some issues. And today I'm going to show you how to try to get around those. Okay. When I got this graphics card, I hooked it up. I ran into some issues as well. And I want you to take a look at something. So this is my NVIDIA control panel here. And as you can clearly see, if you are using RTX 3080, 3090, any of the new 30 series graphics cards that support HDMI 2.1, they enable you to get 4K 120 hertz. Now, my television's a little different. The 2019 OLEDs can go up to 12-bit color. The 2020 OLEDs only go up to 10-bit, but it doesn't matter because the 2019s and the 2020s share the same screen. They're both only 10-bit, but this supports dithering down from 12-bit. So uh, that's the only real difference. So it doesn't really matter. But anyway, when you first hook this graphics card up to your television, your NVIDIA control panel is not going to look like this. It's not going to look simple as seeing, 4K native PC. It's not going to show none of this crap. As you can see, I even got dynamic super resolution enabled, so I can go all the way up to 8K, 120 hertz, 12-bit color, full range with HDR. I can do all that fun stuff. You will not be able to do this straight out the box. If you hook your new 30 series graphics card up to your uh, TV, it is not going to look like this. This is not going to look like this. This resolution, see how neat this is? Dynamic super resolutions, PC, everything you need. It's not going to look like this at all. It's going to be a big cluster. So I'm going to show you how I got it to look like this, how you can get it to look like this, and just make your overall life so much easier. All right. So first thing you're going to want to do is when you're in the NVIDIA control panel, you're going to want to do this. You're going to go to adjust desktop size and position, and you're going to want to set it to GPU scaling, perform scaling on GPU. I have override here checked, and then I hit apply. Feel free to pause, screenshot, whatever you need to do, pause the video and look at these settings, okay? These are my exact settings that I'm going through. My desktop color settings, I have override to reference mode checked for color accuracy and stuff for HDR. That's a new feature they added, so that's welcomed. Um, for, let's see here, I have G-Sync enabled. As you can clearly see, I don't know if it's a good idea to record with G-Sync. And in fact, I probably should maybe consider stopping the video, but hopefully it'll work out. It's just doing 4K 60 anyway. Um, and these are my 3D settings. This is what I'd usually run for my NVIDIA 3D settings. So just take a quick gander for everything that I got here. This will give you some the best picture quality possible. Now, this right here, texture filtering quality, high quality, you can actually totally set this to high performance, and it's going to look almost identical, and you're going to get even better FPS, okay? The only reason I have it set to high quality is because after leaving it on high performance and your brain gets used to how high performance looks, then that's the only way you'll be able to go back to high quality and actually notice notice any sort of tangible difference. I normally play on high performance, but after you play on it for a while, your eyes get adjusted to it, you get used to how it looks, then you go back to high quality and you're like, oh, okay, it does look a little better. Also, the reason why I play at high quality is because even though I'm capable of doing 4K 120 hertz, I don't play at 4K 120 hertz most of the time. I play at lower resolutions, custom resolutions I created, going from uh, this TV natively supports 1080p and 1440p. I created some resolutions in between that, 2688 by 1512, 3072, and these couple other ones. I created these resolutions because when you use GPU scaling, you know how newer games now have the ability to be able to render. They have a feature, they have a resolution slider, a render slider, so a render scale slider in newer games now. So you can output to 4K, but you can adjust the rendering of all the character, people, objects, and models within the game to render much lower than what the native resolution of your display is. Well, but it's that the problem is, and it's a brilliant thing, it's brilliant, but the problem is it's not supported in every game. This is how you get that supported in every game. So if I were to select this resolution here, 3328 by 1872, in the game, if I pick up my television remote and hit info on the remote, it's going to say that I'm still receiving a 4K signal. That's because everything on my screen, it's still being output at 4K, but everything internally you see on the screen, like all the characters and models and stuff, they're being rendered at a lower resolution. But my TV's still getting a 4K signal. It's going to look just as close to 4K as possible. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get into it now. I probably told myself I wouldn't make this video that long. So first, we're going to open up this program. In order to do any of this fun stuff, you're going to need this program called Crew. I talked about this on some of my other videos. This program is a godsend. It allows you to do all sorts of crazy crap that you typically would not be able to do on your own. This is a must-have program. It's free to download. Download this program, install it, just do a quick Google search for it, and run it. So I'm going to run Crew. All right. This is how my Crew is set up. Pay close attention to everything you see here on the screen. Screenshot it, take a picture, whatever you need to do. Your Crew needs to look just like mine, okay? It needs to look just like mine, okay? If you want to get this to work right. Don't have any of this stuff checked over here. Delete out all these resolutions that are originally in here, and start creating these resolutions up here. 4K 3840 by 2160. If you hit edit, make sure you set it to automatic LCD standard, and then put in 3840 by 2160 60 hertz. There's a reason why you're doing that. And do that for every single other one, okay? Also, when you go into Crew, make sure you're already, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just make sure your desktop's at 4K and GPU scaling's enabled. But yes, just create these resolutions here, okay? Now you want to go here to extension blocks. You want to hit edit. All right. Detailed resolutions, you want to create one more here, 2688 by 1512. If you don't have the space to put this here, that's because you probably need to free up some bandwidth, and you do that by deleting some resolutions you don't need. All right. So we're going to go to TV resolutions here and hit edit. The only one that needs to be in this list, dog, is 3840 by 2160, 16 by 9, 120 hertz. That's the only resolution that needs to appear in here. All the others have to go. So delete them out. Okay. Next, HDMI support. Hit edit. Nothing should be down here. All of this needs to be gone. A lot of 4K televisions, for some odd reason, come with a cinema resolution for 4K, which is 4096 by 2160. That's the cinema resolution for 4K. And they always treat that like when you activate NVIDIA DSR to be able to get your DSR resolutions up to 8K. It always treats, instead of treating 3840 by 2160, your native resolution of your display, it's instead of going based off that, it goes off that 4096 resolution. You got to get rid of that, because it's going to when you try to use DSR, you're going to notice that half of your screen is cut off on either side, and that's not right. So delete any resolution that says 4096 by 2160. Make sure that crap is gone. So clear out this list here, down here. Just hit whatever's in here and delete it out. All right. Last but not least, 2019 owners, you were told that your television doesn't support FreeSync. It does support FreeSync, but you have to add it into the display with Crew, okay? If you just hit add, you can add in FreeSync range. You click it, And when you click it, it's going to ask you to add in, put in your range limits. Your your G-Sync range, your FreeSync range limits are going to be the exact same as your G-Sync range limits on this display, which is the minimum frame rate is 40 and the max is 120. Put it in, and you got G-Sync working on your display. This is for those AMD users, all right? Just hit OK. Okay? That is it. Short video today. Once you follow my explicit directions and do everything like I told you, you should be fine. You should be good, okay? Make sure, yet again, you have verified HDMI 2.1 cables, or else none of this won't work. The cables have to say ultra high speed HDMI cable with Ethernet. That's what it has to say. That is an actual spec, okay? So make sure those cables say that. They'll say it on the sleeve of the cable itself. You need to have those cables or else none of this stuff is going to work. Now, finally, when you're done everything here, you want to export this. You want to hit export, and you want to create, you can name it whatever you want. I named mine 4K native, and you want to save it. And after you do that, you just hit OK, and you want to hit restart 64. And once you hit restart 64, your screen's going to flicker for a quick second. It's going to come back and just hit exit on there and exit here, and then go back to your NVIDIA controller panel, and voila. All of the it's going to say 3840 by 2160 native PC, because the reason why this is important is because when you hook up your graphics card to your television, you're going to have television resolutions here, and you're going to have PC resolutions further at the bottom. And the television resolution for 4K only goes up to 4K 60, all right? But if you try to do NVIDIA DSR, it's only going to go off that television resolution, and you're only going to be able to go up to 60 hertz. By doing things the way I did it in Crew, you'll be able to go up to 120 hertz at 8K resolution and everything, 5K, whatever. You'll be able to play all these high resolutions at 120 hertz, all right? And make sure you create those custom resolutions that I showed you in the list. Copy and paste those exact ones. And these resolutions are helpful so you can get more granular control of how much performance you're getting in a game. So if you can't get a locked 4K 120 FPS in a game, drop it down to this resolution, or this one, or this one, or this one, or even this one here, or even 1080p. It doesn't matter. If you once you hit info on the remote, it's still going to say 4K, because you are getting a 4K image. Just everything within that image, the people, the characters, the cars, the objects, those are going to be rendered at a lower resolution, but you're still sending your TV a full 4K signal, which is what you want to guarantee that you get the best picture quality possible, okay? One more thing. There is a glitch in the NVIDIA control panel right now with HDR and trying to do stuff. If you have HDR turned on your desktop, I have it off right now for this video because even though I can record with HDR, it's not necessary right now. If you have HDR on your desktop and you try to turn on you try to turn on NVIDIA DSR, it's going to kick you out. You have to turn off HDR first, and then put on NVIDIA your DSR resolutions. Another thing, if you try to adjust this and you have HDR on, change your color depth, it's going to kick you out. So make sure HDR is off before you do all your stuff in your NVIDIA control panel. And then once all this is set up like this, then you can go and turn HDR on and you won't have any problems, all right? Now remember, 2020 OLEDs, you only can do 10-bit, all right? 2019s can go up to 12-bit, but it doesn't matter. 2019 displays only have a 10-bit display as well, just like 2020 TVs do. So, we might get some extra color, maybe. I don't know exactly how the science behind that works, but ultimately it's still going to be 10-bit, okay? All right, this is it. This is a short video today. So you guys have a good holiday season. I hope everyone here can get a graphics card. I know it's rough. God bless, all that fun stuff, whatever's your way, and y'all have a good one. I'm out.